Then I turned the damn screen on, and Gabe Newell's on there looking more and more like the creepy like school bus driver that stares at you too long when you get off the bus. He's looking like creepy Uncle Grandpa Santa. Well, hello, everybody. We are back for our part 2 of day 2 of E3 2021. Too many numbers. But we split it up in 2 simply because it was too big to do it all at one with Xbox, Bethesda having that merged large show, and then Square Enix coming afterwards. So we decided to split it up, do the first part with Birdman, which you would have heard yesterday. This is releasing a little later, just to spread things out a little bit. So I am back. Birdman is... I'm assuming sleeping because when we said, hey, would you like to stick around for the PC gaming show? He said something to the extent of, I'd rather eat a gun. Or something maybe like a little less harsh, a little less, over the top, don't want to trigger anybody. But I could feel the death stare through the internet recording without even having a camera on him. I could feel the presence of him being mad because he hates the PC gaming show with a seething passion. Like, for the last 4 years we've been doing this, I ask him every year, do you want to watch? And he's like, no. And then I said, you have to. So he would watch it with me, and I would do it just to piss him off, because I know about 5 minutes in, I would get the what the fuck hands from him, being like, this is so cringe. And this year was somehow even more cringe. So, with me, of course, laughing in the background is friend of the show, Ken, and you decided to suffer through it with me. We were trying to watch and edit and do things at the same time, all in the back of my head, hoping that there'd be more things from Sega, like Persona and other things porting. We got nothing. We got none of that.
Yeah, I have more stuff from the future game show than I do the PC gaming show. The PC gaming show is not even half a page.
PC gaming show had a large budget and was way worse than the Future Games show, which is technically the same company or same parent company, but was handled a lot better. I don't know why does the PC Gaming show exist, other than that it's one of the few print magazines that still exists? Because
they spend a shit ton of money.
Well, and they get the sponsors from Intel and Nvidia and everybody. So that's like, at the end of the year, when all these gaming PC companies, when they're doing their budgets, they're like, hey, we got like 30 grand left over in advertising. They'll just throw it at the PC gaming show.
There's a lot of repeats this year in terms of stuff being shown. But what's more messed up is, like, it's not the same shit. It's more of these games. Yeah. So you can't necessarily complain. It's just weird that they're showing up consistently over and over again, instead of just showing us once everything and be done with it.
And it's not like we're getting, like, sometimes you think they do it strategically where they're like, here's the cinematic reveal, and then you'll see stay tuned to the next showcase for the gameplay. Or they'll split it up like they did with Back 4 Blood, which technically, we'll just get that out of the way, was first. 15-minute showcase. That's 15.
Not even. I think it was 9 minutes on the YouTube video.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I think live it was 15 because of the countdown.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that 9-minute showcase had more content in it than
anything they've shown before.
No, than anything Gearbox put out in their entire showcase.
Yeah.
It was more concise. Gameplay looks interesting. The biggest news out of it, other than we found out earlier in the day that it was going to be a Game Pass game, is that it's not just a Game Pass game. It's getting a open beta on the 12th of August, and it looks like anybody can sign up. I don't think that you're restricted by platform. They didn't mention. And if you pre-order the game, so basically anybody not on an Xbox, if you don't have an Xbox and don't have Game Pass, you're going to probably be pre-ordering it. You can do the closed beta on, I think it's the 5th. So cool, but that's by the way, that's the entire showcase for all of Warner Brothers games, probably from now until 2026.
It seems like it.
Because they have been pushing. There's no Lego game, which it was supposed to have already been done like a year ago. Like they were pretty much almost done when the pandemic hit. So and it was coming to next gen. There's no reason it takes that long to just unlock an FPS. There's something going on in the background.
I think it's either it's Disney and the merger.
Like the question is, has Disney killed it? Is it vaporware or are they waiting to work out a deal so that Disney will publish it under their own name, even though it's manufactured and created by Warner Brothers? And how does that work out in their heads? Like, because
there's some deal going on.
Who owns the Lego company? Are they on their own?
Lego's its own thing.
So Lego is probably happy with whomever publishes their game. The trouble is probably in licensing the Star Wars property. Yeah. Because they don't want Star Wars to appear under the Warner Brothers banner. Especially now that they are doing the Warner Discovery thing and really putting down the vice on Disney. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's not vaporware in that. I'll bet you the game's been done for a year and maybe they had some polish to do on the next gen ones just to spiff it up a bit. But it's been done and sitting in a vault, and there's a possibility, I would say 90% of a chance this game is coming out after they work out whatever deal, but there's like a 10% chance that this just never sees the light of day.
Possible.
Because we don't know if it could be the contract is up in 2022 and they're stalling so that they don't have to release the game or can't release it. So who knows? There's some shit going on, but there's nothing else from Warner Brothers. They lost all of their other licenses from pretty much everything else. The Hogwarts game is going to be AFK for at least a
year and a half.
We've got the Batman games were both pushed by at least 6 months apiece.
Yeah, Batman's the Gotham Knights isn't coming out this year. It's next year.
That was supposed to be like September of this year.
Yeah, that was supposed to be their fall game.
And I mean, maybe they're going to slap together a remaster trilogy or something.
And we're definitely like a year and a half, 2 years out from whatever NetherRealm is working on.
That's the thing. People thought they were going to show something. Like there are people that are going, "Oh, maybe it'll be some big crossover." You know, we're more likely to see a brand new in a new engine, see a new version of Injustice than we are to see like a DC versus Marvel. But they could be throwing us a curveball, and it might not be Mortal Kombat at all or Injustice. It could be not that they make a brand new IP. They could be making a fighting game based on. Like, they could go another route and not have it be ultra violent. They might do like a Street Fighter, more cartoony style. You never know. It might be a little off brand, but all you have to do is look at the Warner.
Honestly, for the dev's sanity, I hope it's actually less violent.
Yeah, because I mean, it's fun to do, but they're staring at those graphics all day, and they're like it'll seep into your subconscious a little bit that maybe it would be time for them to try something else. Go into the Warner archive, see what they own.
Do like a Looney Tunes fighting game.
Yeah,
why not do that?
Make it overly cartoonish. Like instead of fatalities, you bash somebody in the head and they end up getting flattened and they walk away as just like flattened shoes.
Yeah, like something goofy. I'd play a Looney Tunes fighting game. You kidding me?
Absolutely. Totally. And you could do a lot with like stretch and squish mechanics. Like they could be an artist's dream to make, especially if it's like really good hand drawn. Think like the Dragon Ball Z Fighters game, something like that.
Yeah, do like a cell shaded kind of look to it.
Yeah, they could totally get away with that. Or if they want to go more serious, you go into the Warner library. It's like, what do we have that we can use? What other games do we own? They don't really own a lot anymore. Because a lot of their stuff was licensed.
The problem with the merger is we don't know what's going on with the games division.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know where that's going.
I was thinking about it. It's very possible. I was thinking beforehand that, because we were talking that there's no, there's been no, not really any Sega stuff shown. There's not been anything really from Konami, and the talk was that Konami was going to have a bunch of crap to show. Do you think it's possible that rumor of selling their gaming division might end up having like all the Warner Brothers games division going to Sony? Or would that
something? There is going to be a merger of some major game company getting bought out by another.
And I'm not saying like
this year
we're going to see like you'd never see Warner Brothers games, a Sony PlayStation original. But what I'm saying is, what if like what is it? Is it Turtle Rock or whatever the studios are? Or what's the studios that make like the Batman games? Rocksteady. That's what it was.
Rocksteady is owned by Warner.
Yeah, Warner might just go, fuck it. Sony, you can have them. Here's the money we want for
it. The rumor was going around that they might be just selling the games division piecemeal.
But that would mean either the franchises or they could be selling the studios.
I was reading it was the studios.
If it's the studios,
and they license out the franchises to the studios.
Yeah, I could see that. Now, I'm just going to quickly, because I want to give Warner the time, a bit of time here, because they only had one game to show off at all of E3.
Yeah, no, it looked good. It looked fun. Like I'll play it for Game Pass, sure.
Yeah, Warner Brothers Interactive. What do they have as far as studios go? A couple of them they shut down. Snowblind. Okay, so Avalanche Software, which
is different from Avalanche.
Yeah, which was Disney owned and is now Warner Brothers. The last thing, they're the ones making the Hogwarts game.
Yeah.
So I could see them. I don't know who would want to buy them. EA. They always want licenses.
Yeah, probably.
Then you got Monolith Productions,
which is different from Monolith Software.
Yes, Monolith Productions is the Middle Earth people.
Yes.
This screams Xbox to me.
Could be.
Monolith would be something there. NetherRealm is the one that everybody would want.
Yeah, everyone would be.
And
for
that is one that would be terrifying if Activision or EA went after them.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying. And I could see Sony wanting them because they make super high quality stuff. And
also they're pretty much the only... They're pretty much the quintessential fighting game console at this point. Because they bought Evo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got Rocksteady, and that's the other one that everybody would be looking for. And I could see Sony wanting them pretty bad if Microsoft wouldn't come after them. Obviously, Microsoft didn't, because if they were going to announce that big, they were saying, if there's maybe a big acquisition, they would have said it at their showcase.
Yeah.
And then Traveler's Tales, WB Boston, which
a whole bunch of WB support studios, and Portkey, which is their mobile division.
And then you've got Montreal, which is the one making Gotham Knights. So I could see Montreal being picked up by Ubisoft.
Yeah, no, that would be a possibility.
And so basically the big two that people would be going for would be NetherRealm and Rocksteady. Those are the ones that are the only ones that really make them a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's
well,
and that's it.
Here's the thing: the whole point is AT&T is bleeding money. They're literally bleeding money because of their poor decision to buy Warner, and they didn't realize that the Warner books were as fucked as they were.
Yeah, and like they can see what did they? They're not saying. I guess they're not divulging how much money the gaming division makes because it's part of the conglomerate, and that would.
Yeah. Also, the fact. Also, I will note I am a shareholder of AT&T.
Okay, fair enough.
Just going to disclose that.
Traveler's Tales, the ones that make all the Lego games, I could see them going completely independent and then signing like a publishing deal with somebody like I don't know, 2K or THQ.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
This whole Warner catastrophe is basically exactly why we are not hearing anything from them.
Because they probably don't even know. There's probably some legal troubles that they're in where the contracts are so convoluted they don't even know if they can release certain games or announce things or move things. Whereas Back 4 Blood, if looking at this, I think they're just publishing it. I don't think they own it.
Yeah, they're just publishing it. It's the same thing. And what was worse was the fact that Cyberpunk they originally were going to publish Cyberpunk, and then they didn't.
And then then it moved to THQ.
Then CDPR just did it themselves. Yeah,
did it themselves, and then used THQ as like their marketing firm.
Yep.
And they had and then it's a similar situation to how poorly managed Square Enix was for a while when they got rid of Hitman, and then it was Warner picked up was it Warner bought them or bought the distribution rights or something?
Warner bought distribution.
And then, but they were the ones that pretty much, they bought distribution, but they were short-sighted and didn't extend the contract beyond a certain amount of time.
Now they're just publishing it themselves.
Yeah, because they made so much money off of the second game when they didn't, Warner, they saw potential, and they should have locked them in because they didn't think it had potential because the episodic thing that Square Enix wanted them to do wasn't selling. Well, they end up releasing a game that sells like 3 or 4 times what the first game sold, and when it comes time to renegotiate, they're like, no, we're just going to self-publish and again do the same sort of thing. Hire a marketing firm to handle marketing. And there's going to be certain markets like with Cyberpunk. I think Europe was handled by THQ because they have the distribution network. But like in North America, there's ways to just publish yourself, no problem. So they lost big contracts.
Yeah.
So yes, getting into I guess the PC gaming, it was exactly what I figured it was going to be, a cringe-worthy disaster of a host.
Also sponsored by NVIDIA GeForce Now, which it
was on the screen at
consistently reminded you every 10 minutes.
Omnipresent on the screen. GeForce Now, which is again admittedly a decent service, but here's the secret: the quality isn't as good as Stadia, and if you're somebody who complained about Stadia, the quality just isn't there. Also, it has a wider variety of games because obviously it works on games that you own, but there's contention about how games sometimes just disappear from the service.
Yeah.
So far, there's not been anything that's disappeared from Stadia or from xCloud, right? But
because you're purchasing them through those services.
Yeah, that's I don't necessarily know how a lot of people. I only know one person that even uses the NVIDIA service. So it's cool. It's cool, but I mean, it's the way that they were advertising it to you. They made it seem like it's the coolest thing in the world. PC gaming. There is out of everything there's only one game. What was the show? About an hour long?
Like an hour and a half.
Okay. Out of that whole thing, there's some good ones. We'll talk about them. Only one spoke to me and made me stop and go, I'm going to watch this trailer 2 or 3 times. And funny thing is, I don't remember the name of it. It is the one where you're trying to get into a dodgeball My Hero Academia school where you're
literally the first trailer that got shown off.
Oh, that's okay. It's a turn-based RPG, but you're playing dodgeball.
Yeah, I wrote Mario Dodgeball because it looks like Mario Dodgeball.
It's like Mario Dodgeball with lots of references to My Hero
Academia. The name of the
Academia.
game is called Dodgeball Academia.
Yeah, and it was clear that they're doing a lot of shonen tropes, like jump tropes and everything in there, and it's got an art style similar to what we've seen with those Adult Swim, Adventure Time type shows.
Yeah.
But instead of just being completely flat, left to right RPG, it has dynamic angles and you'll see over the shoulder scenes. It's doing a lot of cool stuff with camera angles, and it's a turn-based dodgeball game where you're trying to become the best dodgeball player to get into a prestigious dodgeball school.
Yeah. Some of the other ones that I pointed out, Ramen, which was that Katamari type game. We actually got some more gameplay from that. That got shown off a couple of times already. Vampire Masquerade Swan Song got a release window of this year. So, okay. Gigabash, which is like that, is a kaiju battler game. It's like,
oh yeah. It gets given me was it Mech City Brawl feels or sort of like King of the Monsters stuff.
Yeah. Lakeburg Legacies had a really cool art style, and it's like a King Legacy simulator kind of game.
Yeah.
With a nice art style. Silt, which is an underwater spooky limbo type game.
True. Orcs Must Die 3, which was previously a Stadia exclusive.
And is coming everywhere else later.
And they're not mentioning that. Like, they're making it sound like it's premiering on PC. Like, it's like, hey, it's the first time it's available. So, if world premiere, I'm like, what do you mean?
I mean, the trailer joked, oh, finally.
Yeah, well, because it's already been out for a year.
Yeah.
Just only like 10 people played it.
Yeah. And the last one I have is Tinykin, which is Pikmin meets like Paper Mario.
Yeah, and then there was something I saw. Was it Ixion? But that's like it was a cinematic tease, so you have no idea what the game's going to be. But it was like a space hyper realistic sort of game.
Oh, and what was the?
Gabe Newell showed up for no reason.
Yeah, Gabe Newell showed up for barely any reason. It was Clinfire or something. I think
Sacrifier. There was one called Sacrifier.
Sacrifier. That's the name of it. It's from the devs of Regalia of Monarchs and Men.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And they're kickstarting that. That Kickstarter launched. The only thing I looked up the Kickstarter, it's a little pricey.
To get into?
Well, it's not pricey to get a digital copy. The problem is my usual go-to is a soundtrack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a little pricey.
Are we looking at like $100 US?
It's like 40 euros.
60 US?
60 US ish. Yeah. A little pricey.
75 Canadian. That's a bit high.
And on top of that, you get 2 copies, which why the hell do I want 2 copies of the game?
Is it I guess
you can't get the soundtrack any other way.
Is it physical?
No, it's digital.
Oh, I guess if you wanted to,
you get 2 digital copies. Probably one. You'd get one for PC and one for a console.
Now the question is the audio soundtrack? Is it going to be DRM free, like just FLAC files?
Yes.
Okay, then what you do is you get a friend that wants it, and you both split the cost of one order, so you each get a copy of the game for half price, and you can share the music. Like that works if you really, really want it digital, but at that point, I would go for something physical if they have it.
I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait till it comes out then.
Well, yeah.
Honestly, I'm just gonna wait till it comes out and
get it from Limited Run Games or somebody when they put out a physical copy.
Yeah, exactly. I'll wait till it comes out.
Because at that point, you'll probably get a physical copy for like $40, and then you could probably get like a music CD or like a vinyl copy with a download code for like $40 if you wanted the soundtrack, and it'd be the same price.
Exactly. So I'll wait till that comes out.
Yeah, and then I guess the next thing was the Future Games show, which, or I guess it's the last of the day, I'm hoping, because good Lord, this was a long day. This was like 7 hours of watching crap.
Yeah, just about.
But yeah, this is Games Radar put on the Future Games show. They're the same company as PC Gamer. I guess just that Games Radar is the website, or they maybe were a competitor that they purchased. I don't really know the background here, except that I don't know why they have 2 separate shows if it's the same parent company. But whatever. this was a better show overall, even with a lower. We should mention on the PC gaming show that in addition to it being one of the most cringe, ridiculous, like bad cringe I've ever seen, it was that there was a distinct lack of publishers showing up. Like, it was a lot of indie titles and a lot of updates to things we already heard of. There was less shown at the PC gaming show than I think I've ever seen out of the 4 years I've been doing this. And then
there was a lot, and like clearly MechWarrior paid a lot of money to be a part of that.
Yeah, and
because it was a major part of the show.
Yeah, and it's a game that's already out. Like
it's also on Game Pass.
Yeah, like they were showing off a lot of the stuff and then hyping it up. Like talk about we have the best PC game show ever. And I'm like, how? I understand that's your script, you got to read it, but how can you possibly think this was when this was by far the weakest they've ever done?
It was pretty damn weak.
Now the Future Game Show, this was the best Future Game Show that they've done. I think this is
the third year. There was a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, I think this is the third year they've done this, maybe the fourth, but it is newer. The PC gaming show dates back to watching it on G4 TV like 20 years ago. But with physical sets. This was, just two voice actors reading from scripts, which was a million times better than the horrible hosts of the previous show.
Well, also Troy Baker and Laura Bailey are also charismatic as fuck.
Well, that and work together off and on, in projects for the last 20 years. They know each other.
They're good friends. They are very good friends.
I'm pretty sure I've heard of them. Like they do streaming and stuff, play games and do. You couldn't get two more charismatic, friendly, fan-friendly people to do a show. So they were charming as hell, which is a real nice balance.
Yeah. I've got a list of games here. They're not in any particular order because I was kind of skimming through and also looking at the Steam page. So I was also writing down some stuff that was only briefly shown off during the montages, but I thought were really interesting. One of them was the Definitely Not Fried Chicken, which is it's a drug cartel simulator. and your front is a fried chicken place.
Cashing in on 10-year-old Breaking Bad storylines.
The whole concept is you are a fried chicken place that is the front for a drug cartel.
Okay.
And you're running both sides of the company.
Yeah, like I guess we should preface what the Future Game Show is. PC Gaming is run by PC Gamer, but it's just obviously PC games. Future Games is more akin to Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest in that it's usually more indie titles that didn't make it into other shows, but it's all multi-platform games.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. But that sounds crazy.
Yeah, that it's supposed to come out this year. That got wishlisted immediately because that looked hilarious.
I'm trying to find an individual trailer for it. Was that part of the montage?
It's called it's part of the montage. It's Definitely Not Fried Chicken is the name of the game.
Yeah, because they did have a little segment for like 2 minutes where it was, what did they call it? It was like new hits or hot hits or something like that. Where it's
something like that.
It was like clip after clip. It's sort of this, like when you watch a Nintendo Direct and they sometimes show a montage at the end, and you'll be like, "Wait a minute, why isn't that in the main show? Because that looks so much cooler."
Yeah, there was another one that was part of that, and that's called Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder.
Cool.
Just looking at it, you're just like, oh god, this looks cool. I'm just reading the blurb from Steam. Inspired by 16 and 32-bit classics, Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder fuses tight 2D platforming and exhilarating combat with an engrossing twist-laden narrative in a stunning handcrafted steampunk world. And it's a Metroidvania.
Okay.
And that's coming out later this year. And that's also coming to consoles as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Almost all of this is all coming to consoles as well.
Yeah, or it might be PC
There are some like betas that are going to be on PC.
Yeah, and some things that are going to show up during like Steam's was it Steam Fest or whatever the heck they're calling it?
The Steam demo Palooza.
Yeah,
that is starting on Tuesday, I think.
And there was a package put together of a few titles from Xseed and Marvelous, which I had forgotten. They're one of the companies I usually look for at E3, but I guess I hadn't seen them announced anywhere. And usually they're factored into like a montage on like Nintendo or somebody else's, but they were put here. And I guess there was a bit of a delay on Rune Factory 5, which was supposed to be, I think, originally summer of this year.
Yeah.
And they pushed it to next year, so I'm thinking it's probably a spring game.
Yeah.
And it's probably
one of the other.
It's just the localization, I guess.
One of the ones in that montage was a remaster of the original Akiba Strip.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for the box for that. I think was that a PS3 title originally?
I think it's PS3.
Yeah, I know there was a PS4 version, but I'm not sure if that was.
That's a new version of the game. That's a new game in the series.
That's what it was. It was the second one. I remember because I would think I was working retail when that one came out, and
this is a full remaster of the first one in the game.
Yeah, I remember having to tell parents like, "You sure you want to buy this for your kid? Why? Because this is a game where you beat up girls with a stick till their clothes come off." And that's not really what happens in the game per se, but that's what I was saying to them, and they're like, "What? Like, how could you sell this to kids?" I'm like, "I'm not. You're buying it for your kid." Like,
also, for some reason, they decided to announce that Lake is coming out in September.
Okay.
The game that I was talking about yesterday.
They
go to a small town and become a mailman. That's coming out September 1st.
Okay.
They just announced it at Future Games for some particular reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch that trailer and see, because there were some other stuff. Like, they showed a fair bit. It was rapid fire with things coming.
Yeah. Beacon Pines was another one that I immediately wishlisted because it looks so damn gorgeously cute. You play at Beacon Pines is a cute and creepy adventure game within a magical storybook. You play as both the reader of the book and its main character, Luca. Explore the town to find word charms and use your charms to change the course of your fate.
Oh, that could be, depending, it could be pretty good. There was Happy Game.
It looks gorgeous.
Do you think you want to get Happy Game?
Yes, I want to get Happy Game.
Explain what Happy Game is, other than making it so I can't sleep tonight.
Happy Game is Tim Burton on LSD.
Yeah, everybody's happy. It's like what if you dropped a bunch of acid and some shrooms and other stuff, and then sat really freaking close to a TV wearing your grandpa's glasses watching Teletubbies.
And that as a demo, and I am playing the hell out of that demo because that's totally right up my alley. It's so weirdly creepy.
Like, it's off-putting. It's like, oh no, this is gonna be a problematic game, but simply because I won't sleep. That's that's it. They also announced 2 Point Campus, which was already announced previously at two different shows, and they acknowledged that it had already been shown. They're like, maybe you've heard of this, and they're like, shh, quiet.
Quiet you.
Yeah. Then there were a couple others, but there's probably the only one here was kept asking, where's Sega at all these shows? They didn't I'm sure they had their own Sonic thing, but Sega has more games than Sonic. Not to mention that none of those Sonic games are even coming out right now that we know of with a proper date, except for two. One being Sonic showing up in the Olympic Games, not the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games that actually came out the proper year that it was supposed to, but the actual Olympic Games game that wasn't shown here at all. And isn't the Olympics still happening? Like, you figure they would have shown some of the games, but
the Olympic Committee will make it appear like it's happening, but Japan is saying fuck no.
Yeah. And the only other one that we heard was coming was Sonic Colors, and they showed a 480p video, or actually no, sorry, it looked like a 240p video upscaled using AI rendering.
It looked so bad.
You know what I think they did? Well, because the rest of it, the stream was fine, everything else was fine. I think when they were throwing it in, because they're not like compressing a video and then putting it up. What they're doing is they're throwing it into a presentation software, right? And it's grabbing whatever source. I think they threw the mobile phone video in that they would normally use for like Twitter, or if you're scrolling through Facebook and you get an ad and you watch a video. I think they threw a 360p video up and didn't realize it. And they can't change it while it's playing.
One of the more pretty games that actually shadow dropped was Minute of Islands.
Minute of Islands. That was that the hand-drawn one?
It looks very hand-drawn, very Adventure Time-esque. Actually, right now the devs are actually streaming and showing off how they made the game and stuff. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like cel-shaded Adventure Time.
Yeah, and that's that shadow dropped. It's $20. It's gonna be on all platforms. Xbox is gonna take a bit. I guess it just needed a couple more days to go through processing and stuff.
Yeah, probably.
So it's up on everything except Xbox, which will be later this week.
And they showed more of Harold Halibut.
Which, oh my gosh, that looks so good.
That is the handcrafted like stop motion claymation game where they're in space on like a colony planet that's underwater, and we talked about it the last couple of days. They showed a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more.
Full on conversation trees. You can do your job, but then you can talk to people, and you'll get more of the background and get the motivations of everybody living there. And I was like, it's a lot bigger in scope than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
And I think the only other one I could think of from the top of my head that I saw, they closed the show with it maybe. What was it?
Immortality, which is from the Her Story dev.
Yeah, that's what it was. As I hadn't played Her Story, but I knew the name of and I was like, wait a minute, I've heard of this. And the other one was Starmancer. Looked kind of neat.
There's also Death Run TV, which looks like a Smash TV successor.
Yeah. So they showed
there's a good chunk of stuff here.
Yeah, and then they showed some stuff where I'm like, I wouldn't have shown that. That looks like a palette swap first person shooter from 2005. I wouldn't show that. I'm not going to say names because I'm sure the devs worked very hard on it, but you didn't have any place in the showcase. You look like an early access demo. You didn't look like a finished game.
There was also one of the really good looking ones was Greek, Greak, Memories of Azure, and that's coming out in August. And
maybe I missed that one in my catch up.
Yeah, it was in the Team 17 montage.
Okay, that's what it was. And then they showed more of Ollie Ollie World. Ollie Ollie World's been at almost every show.
Yep.
So it's getting pushed. Like I didn't know that the two previous games had sold well. Like I had seen it part of like every Humble Bundle ever, and I just assumed that's because it didn't sell. I didn't realize that it was so popular that they started giving it away in bundles.
But yeah, so. Greek is like it seems very Hollow Knight-ish in terms of like how it plays from the looks of things. Like I'm looking at the gameplay right now, it's very Hollow Knight.
Well, it's good. I mean, we had a good variety here. This redeemed the PC game show for me.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, oh my gosh, the PC game show was a disaster. This was actually, there was some good stuff.
Could you imagine if we had a day, let's say like Saturday, E3 day one where we had Ubisoft? What if Ubisoft wasn't a part of it and it was just the Guerrilla Collective, Gearbox, and the PC game show?
I don't think I'd survive the day.
I would have been looking for bridges to jump off of. Like, you would have had to kept sharp objects away from me because I would have just been slowly trying to grab anything I can to remove my eyes and ears.
Thankfully, I was doing other stuff during the Guerrilla Collective.
Yeah. I was sleeping, so... and again, I feel bad for everybody involved, but like, you'd think your shows would improve every year, but maybe the format that they're using isn't the best. because some of the best ones here here's an introduction, and we're going to show you 10 trailers in a row. I feel like they're trying to fill the air a little too much.
Also, I don't know if this was dated at the PC Gamer Show or what it was dated here at the Future Games, but Dying Light 2 is coming out in December.
I think it was here. I think they got the exclusive.
Okay.
So that's good. So let's just say this. Now we're sort of closing up the show for our day 2, part 2 coverage. Tomorrow, which is actually today when you're hearing this, it's another one of the smaller sort of days where we're not dealing with like a major Xbox presentation. We're not dealing with a Nintendo. But we are getting Capcom, which is weird that they're doing their own thing, but I guess some of their games have gotten big enough to do it. So there's Capcom, which, do you have any predictions? Because by the time this comes out, it'll be a few hours away from their showcases going up. And then we can maybe come back and talk about how we all got it wrong. I have a prediction that they already said it's going to have Monster Hunter stuff, but do you think we're going to get any surprises? Are we going to get 1 or 2 small titles from them? Because it looks like to be a half-hour show.
I think a majority of it is going to be Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And we might get something small.
They said that the only thing they've announced so far is Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is launching in July 9th. So that's their focus.
Rise DLC.
Monster Hunter Rise. Resident Evil Village. And they said they are going to show off the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. But I'm assuming that's a 2 to 3 minute thing. If you add those
the
up,
Great Ace Attorney is just going to be a trailer.
There's enough
Monster Hunter, they're going to show off some new monsters, so that's going to be a trailer.
Do you think we'll get a Mega Man tease?
We could see a Mega Man X, possibly.
Would you think, what other properties do they have that they're sitting on that aren't licensed properties?
Is
Bionic Commando them?
Bionic Commando is them, yeah. Street Fighter is the only thing that I know is in the works, but that'll probably be saved to Evo.
Yeah, because I think it would be neat if we started getting like what it wouldn't necessarily be shown on that date. It would probably be more something for Nintendo. But how great would it be to get a Tatsunoko versus Capcom remaster in HD?
If they can get the licensing deals, ironed out, sure,
it would sell better than it ever did initially. So I don't know. I'm thinking my prediction is we're going to get 2 trailers, whether they're big or small, for things that we haven't seen. 2 one 30-second teaser and one 1.5 minute trailer to fill up, the middle or the end of their little half-hour showcase. There's also the limited run games showcase, but as cool as that is,
also limited run isn't technically officially a part of E3.
Yeah, these are all gaming things that are involved. It's part of the summer of games or whatever.
Which is fine. It. But limited run is basically just going to be showing up. Hey, here's the lineup of games that we got up for pre-order in the next month or so.
Yeah, and they've done that the last 2 years. And the other is Take-Two Interactive has their panel, and I think that's an official E3
Yeah,
one.
no, that is. So I'm looking at the schedule now.
So it's Take-Two and Capcom. So are we getting Grand Theft Auto 6?
No.
There. No?
No.
Are we
that would be one of the big boys showing that off.
Sony or Microsoft, right?
Sony or Microsoft. There's no way.
Okay. But then again, they might just pull a fast one and be like, look what we got. But here's the question. Do you think we're going to see glimpses of what the next gen upgrades to GTA 5 look like?
Easy. That's easy.
That's what we're probably
that'll be for the I think that this panel, whatever it is going to be more for the investors than anything else.
Well, they're calling it the interactive diversity panel.
Yeah.
What is that? I'm assuming we're going to get we'll get a trailer or 2 teasing what they've got coming. But because Take-Two encompasses more than just Rockstar. So I'm assuming I don't know what else they have. Like, we're going to get another WWE game. Like, are they going to, like, they don't have a lot of other things coming. So
yeah, they have like nothing.
Especially since it starts at 1:15. It can't just be 15. 15 minutes isn't enough to talk. So I'm assuming it's a 45-minute panel. But which, again, why would you start at 1:15? Why wouldn't you just start at 1? Something's weird about this, how the timing is. So we'll see what happens there. And then, of course, I'll do that probably solo, because I don't imagine we're all going to jump on for that if it's just an update. But the next day is 5 hours of Nintendo.
Well, it'll be Nintendo sleep and just wait for the treehouse to end, and then just look at what you want.
Precisely. It'll be watch Nintendo, watch Nintendo for, I think they said 45 minutes, but, give yourself an hour buffer. And then at 1 p.m., decide to take a quick nap and wake up at, Wake up at
Namco.
5 p.m. to watch Bandai Namco, and then catch up on the Nintendo Treehouse right after.
Yep.
And then there's the Play for All showcase, which I don't think anything new is going to be there. It's just like deep dives on things.
Yeah.
And then they finish it up with their award show, which, I'll be honest, we're not covering. I don't need to sit around and watch them give awards to games that aren't even out yet. Like, Best in Show, those things are usually awarded when you're on a trade show floor and you're part of the press, and you are casting your vote from what you see was the best that you could physically play.
Well, E3 has always been... the way the judging works at E3 is they always have all the judges play shit a week before E3 even starts. And then people go out on the show. Then people go out on the show floor.
Which is problematic for a multitude of reasons. I'm not saying people can be bribed, but I'm saying people can be bribed.
It's the ESA. This is one of the biggest lobbyists.
I mean, this is the first year in a long time that we've had press credentials for it, and their press site still isn't working properly, and it's supposed to be live for everybody. The reward system isn't working. There's a lot wrong, and there was actually people on YouTube making fun of it, and they're showing parts of it that they probably shouldn't be showing how it's working, and they're just like riffing. I think one of the groups is, I think Easy Allies did it.
Yeah, Easy Allies did. Easy Allies always does their big
on the show floor.
There's always about the show floor with their easy update.
And this time the show floor was them having fake crowd noise and then navigating the booth screen on the thing. And that interface is bad.
Garbage.
Now we've been able to contact some nice companies through it, which is always great, but the site has gone to a crawl since the general public was allowed on. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is what they would decide to go forward with next year, or maybe they didn't actually upgrade anything on their purposeful because they think that everything's going to go back to in-person next year. But if this is how they're handling the E3 in total, like how haphazard and bad and disorganized it is on their website, as well as where to watch and all this stuff, I could see Jeff Keighley's stuff taking over again next year. Because
by the way, Nintendo posted a Rune Factory 5 trailer.
Okay, neat.
So that's going to be part of their Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, but it's confirming. Yeah, it's coming out in 2022.
There's still a few companies we haven't seen. I don't know where we're going to see them pop up, but the big absence has been there's been nothing from Activision. They had a quick thing saying, "Hey, there's a Call of Duty League," but they haven't shown any games.
Yeah,
I'm
also also the problem with Activision is everyone's working on Call of Duty.
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that whenever Sony decides to put out their press conference and their state of play, that it's going to be as jam packed as Microsoft's one, if not more, because these are going to be games that are next gen exclusive or next gen taking advantage of features right now, not 3 years down the line.
Yeah, hands down.
So that is going to do it for our coverage of I think the longest, hardest day of all of the E3 and Summer of Gaming showcase extravaganza watching boringness. And we're going to be back, or I'll be back later today. Then Birdman wants to come back for the Nintendo Day coverage, and then I'm going to sleep for like 3 days, I think. And
I will be back for Nintendo as well, because please have a Fire Emblem game. God damn it!
Oh, don't tease me. Or how about an Advance Wars? How about a Switch Wars game?
Oof. Well, we did get an Advanced Wars successor, because he left. The guy that made Advanced Wars left the company and did his own thing, and then there was a whole snafu with him misusing the Kickstarter funds and shit like that.
Okay, let's forget about that. How about, out of left field, a Codename Steam update from was it 3DS or DS to
it was 3DS.
Bring that shit over. Or what's the game that nobody has ever played except that they saw the pictures unfold from Street Pass? Dylan's Rolling something or other.
Oh, they could do a free to start game of that.
I was gonna say, because like that's a franchise that people forget exists. No, actually, screw that. I want some like HD remastered Paper Mario, or what's it, the Mario and Luigi games. Give us like a HD remake of the Game Boy Advance titles.
They already did that for the 3DS, and it's a piece of garbage. It was bad. Like, I'm a huge Superstar Saga fan, and they fucked that up.
Okay,
so bad.
Okay, give me HD hand-drawn sprite remakes of Mario Mario All-Stars, all the games in that, but brand new from the ground up.
Nintendo will never do that.
Oh,
I'm sorry to burst your bubble.
All right, Devil World. We never got that. Or no, it has the word devil in it. Nintendo's never doing it.
My only expectation is hope for Fire Emblem. Probably gonna get Zelda Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on Switch.
We are gonna get before we get a proper Mario RPG or Paper Mario like remaster. We would probably get like Star Tropics first. Right, like the two titles that they've forgotten existed. The second game was made specifically for the US audience, and it's never been re-released except for like in a couple emulation packages. Yeah. And it's basically like US Zelda Final Fantasy hybrid. Why not release that?
I don't know. Nintendo got a Nintendo.
I mean, it was basically Zelda with time travel in it before that was cool.
I mean, if we're talking like stupid predictions, let's get Mother 3, baby.
Mother 3, and it's the launch title pack-in for the Switch Pro.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
But no, wait, Mother 3 comes with a strategy guide, but it's $600 for the game.
I mean, that's about as much as a copy of Earthbound costs fully in box, so why not?
They would sell as many copies at $600 as they did of the original game when it came out.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Mother fans are pretty fucking crazy.
Very, very true. How about we just get, I don't know, F-Zero? How about we get like a crossover game where it's like F-Zero meets Twisted Metal? Or we get... Well, it could be time for another Kirby.
Yeah, we'll probably get another Kirby teased.
Well, they're going to show, obviously, within
it's going to be Zelda.
Yeah,
a lot of Zelda.
And in 2 weeks, we got the Mario Golf game coming out. So,
well, Mario Golf is going to be Treehouse. That's going to be the first thing that gets shown off at Treehouse, hands down.
That and the Builder game, which I'm actually starting to work on now. But as far as big surprises, I think we're going to be in store for a few, but it's probably going to be more third-party stuff than anything.
Yeah, no, Nintendo's got a lot of third-party support.
Isn't it about time we see more on No More Heroes 3 other than just the trailer, see actual gameplay?
I mean, it's coming out this year.
It's coming out in like 2 months.
Yeah, so they'll show something off.
Yeah. Alrighty. No more rambling from us. So I guess, Ken, where can people find you? I know you've got a couple podcasts.
Yep. You can find me Twitter, Instagram at Ken Reels. My movie podcast, Movie Nation, is up as probably by the time you're listening to this. This comes out at like 7
a.m. on Monday.
Yeah, so I go 9 a.m. Monday is when the movie podcast.
Tag team it.
Movie-nation.com is where you can find that, or you can find Movie Nation on Spotify or Apple or Google. I'm in the process of adding it to other services as we speak. My anime podcast, ThisAnimePodcast.com, and it is available literally everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's like us. We started out on iTunes, then we hit other podcatchers, and now it's Spotify, Apple, Amazon, every podcatcher in the world, YouTube. If you search our name, you find us, sort of thing. I love that they now syndicate these shows everywhere. You know how much work that used to be when you had to do it yourself and maintain multiple feeds. Ugh. So great. If you have any feedback for the show, want to get in touch, feedback at ThisWeekInGeek.net. Hit us up on pretty much every social as This Week in Geek or Twig. And I'm pretty much monitoring most of the socials now myself. So if you need to get in touch with me, you can go through there or hit Alex at ThisWeekInGeek.net. That's it for tonight. We will be back with more coverage, and we'll be doing a roundtable discussion, if not this coming weekend, on the whole E3 as a whole. If not this weekend, sometime next week as well. Bye-bye, everybody. We will be back.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.